Today I'm with Ira Cohen from MMD Smart. He's the head of business development, and we're talking about rich communication services. Ira, can you briefly explain what RCS is and how it differs from traditional SMS?
Sure. RCS is rich communication messaging. So rich communications mean that I can include audio, messaging, video messaging, and pictures in the message, which is unlike SMS, which is a current messaging app on most phones, which is mostly textual based and doesn't allow that richer sort of communications.
So why is that RCS important for businesses, and how are you seeing MMD Smart and MessageWhiz customers starting to use RCS?
The business application of RCS is called rich business messaging, and that enables companies to interact with their customers by sharing with them information that is video-based or picture-based, which is a key part of the way that we market today. Text doesn't necessarily sell as well as me being able to see for myself what the product looks like and imagine myself using that product. Then RCS enables all of that. It also enables companies, for example, to do payment directly through the app, and so we don't have to go through a separate payment platform. So businesses have a much better interaction with the customers. For example, a car company selling a new car can send a video promoting the new car, showing the customer what it looks like inside the car so they can picture themselves driving that car. And then they can then go and say, would you like to schedule a test drive, and put in a scheduling with buttons to choose what I want to test drive. So there are some great applications that we're seeing businesses starting to use using RCS and RBM.
What are some of the specific challenges in customer communications that RCS or RBS is helping businesses solve?
The biggest problem is that when I send a one-way message, I don't necessarily know that I'm getting engagement or reaction from the consumer. So one of the great things of RCS, for example, is that I know definitely that the message was delivered to the handset of the user, which I don't necessarily know in other types of communication channels. So that's one thing I know for sure that it was delivered. So that's one challenge. But the second challenge is, how do I engage my customers? How do I get them excited about my product? How do I monitor if they're excited about the product? Because of all of these engagement capabilities that RCS provides, businesses are able to see that right away. And that gives them an immediate sense of what they're doing in terms of the marketing and how to promote. I'll use a different maybe use case, and that's in terms of customer service. So if I can share with the customer exactly what they need to do with a video or show them on the screen how they should use the product, then I'm also having a much higher level of interaction and getting a higher level of customer satisfaction from the interaction that they're having with the business.
All right. So are there any industries that you see are more likely to go towards this rich communications?
Frankly, almost all of them are using it now. We're seeing it across. I think probably the first use cases are for e-commerce and online retail companies, but we're also seeing some use cases of bricks and mortar companies, traditional companies, Subway sandwiches and the convenience stores and pharmaceutical companies and perfume companies. We're seeing it across the board, across many, many industries. Probably the first ones that are really seeing the impact are e-commerce and retail, but we're going to see it across travel and hospitality. There's tremendous value being able to share pictures of the hotel room that you're going to stay in, or having a sort of this mobile concierge to help you along. We're definitely going to see it in gaming and online gaming, for example. There's tremendous value for that industry as well. So we're beginning to see in different places, different industries getting involved. But for example, one of the first uses of it was in the UK for the Virgin train selling tickets using RCS in the UK. So it can go across tremendous, all different types of industries, really, because in the end, all companies that are selling, they need that customer interaction. They need to have a much more higher level of engagement, and that's what RCS enables.
So how does RCS impact customer engagement in ways that SMS didn't? And if you have any kind of metrics, like, in terms of performance metrics, where we see rich communications outperforming, your typical text-based SMS.
Well, the data has practically been amazing. There was data last year from Procter & Gamble, which was using it, and they found that the amount of screen time that RCS was getting from users was significantly higher than any other channel, whether it's email or whether it's banners on the internet or text messaging. The amount of time that my eyes were on the screen looking at the messaging was significantly higher for RCS. That's what marketers want. And none of the other sort of channels can do, certainly not a text-based channel, which does not have the colors and the visual ability to draw in customers. So I want to get my customers' attention. Marketers monitor the amount of time that my eyeballs are on the screen, and RCS brings that definitely more than the other channels. So that's like one significant difference, an immediate difference that we've seen from the initial data. The other thing that marketers often monitor is how many different pieces of content or how much time I'll spend on a website or how many times I'll go from different pages on the website. And RCS has a far superior retention level in terms of keeping me interested in the content and looking at different aspects of this content. So those are two immediate impacts that we've seen from the use of RCS.
All right. What are some of the biggest hurdles at this point to widespread RCS adoption?
Well, the biggest hurdle obviously has been until now that it wasn't necessarily supported in iPhones. But last year, Apple announced that RCS would be native messaging within iPhone. So automatically, a lot of brands that have been sort of sitting on the side, hesitating to implement RCS in their marketing, have come on board. And that's just in the last year. In the year 2004, we saw a 300% increase in that. We'll probably see a much higher level of increase in 2025. So that was probably the most significant hurdle worldwide. The other hurdle is that many network operators were sitting on the side waiting to implement RCS in their networks until there was full iPhone support. Now that iPhone support is there, many more networks are coming on board. So we're seeing a tremendous increase in the number of companies that will be offering it. We expect to see a tripling of the amount of countries that will support RCS by the end of 2025. And so we're seeing a significant upswing over the last couple of years.
So Apple's really had quite an impact on RCS by starting to support it, it seems.
Yeah, and someone who's been involved in the RCS evangelization over the last 7 to 8 years, that was always the big thing in the back of our heads. We knew about the intrinsic value that RCS could bring to the messaging industry. It was something that for all of us, we all wanted and we all knew that it would be important. But because Google was involved in the RCS development, and Google and Apple are basically the biggest competitors in terms of the operating systems and handsets and smartphones. There was sort of this competitive thing going on there. But Apple understood that in terms of its user experience for its own users, it needed to be able to support RCS so that there wouldn't be separate worlds where I'm on my Android phone, I communicate with my friends who have the same Android phone, and when I'm on Apple, but I can't communicate between the two. They realized that was a poor user experience for Apple, for the iPhone users, and that's one of the reasons why they went ahead with it. They also received some assurances that Google will not poach on their user base by the fact that this would be in their phone. So we were very happy to see. We knew that it was coming for some time, but we were very happy to see the initial announcement. And then late last year, when Apple announced what its scheduling was for support for RCS in new iPhone version. So yeah, that was a big thing.
All right, last question. What advice would you give to businesses that are considering RCS as part of their messaging strategy?
Don't be hesitant, go for it. The initial data is clear about its value. It's more complicated. We're not gonna not be transparent about it. It's more complicated. You need to get a lot more thought into building RCS campaigns because you have to understand how to use all of these different visuals and all of these different tools properly. But there are people who can help you do that. We can help you do that. And just go for it. It's maybe a little bit more require you to think through it and plan the campaign differently, but the benefits far exceed that initial payment of time and resources. So go for it. That's the best advice that I can say. Study it, speak to us. We'll help you understand what RCS entails. We'll also make sure that RCS is the proper use for your use case and for your target market. But the best advice is that there should not be any hesitancy. Now that it's supported, it'll be supported by almost every single smartphone in the world. There's no reason not to go ahead with it.
And so what's the first step that some companies should take in order to get started on their RCS journey or RBS journey?
Talk to us, talk to our messaging specialists. We'll help you understand. We'll understand your use case and suggest you the right tools to use. The first stages will be that you'll need to register for your sender ID. You need to register your brand. RCS is an encrypted system, and so the initial entry into the system is to make sure that you represent the brand, that your company is recognized as the company that owns this logo, the sender ID. And then we'll help you build out that campaign. We can help you with the registration process, and we can help you plan your campaign. So those will be the first steps.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Ira. And we'll talk to you again. We'll talk to you again in the near future.
All right. Let's go with RCS.